Okay, we'll look at some of the homework problems that are in section 8.2 that deals with percents and some applications. Like in problem number 1, we're going to express the number as a percent, and the number here is 2.52. When we write a percent as a decimal, change a decimal to a percent, we move the decimal point 2 places to the right. So in 2.52, we're going to move this decimal point 2 places to the right. So the decimal point will be behind the 2. And then we add the percent sign. So in this case, it'll be 252%. Now the percent sign will already be there. All you have to do is just type in the number. And then number 2, we're going to change the percent to a decimal number. In this case, 41%. Here we're changing a percent to a decimal, so we drop the percent sign, and the decimal point is behind the last digit, so we go ahead and move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So in this case, this will be 0.41, or 0.41 if you want to call it that. So 41% as a decimal will be 0.41. All right, number 3, what is 5% of 28? 5% of 28. Well, let's change the 5% to a decimal. In this case, it's going to be 0.05. The word of means multiplication. And then we bring over the 28. So 0.05 would be multiplied by 28. And you'll get 1.4. So 5% of 28 will be 1.4. All right, number 4, a real estate commission rate is 4%. What is the commission on the sale of a $95,000 home? In this case here, to find the commission rate, I'm going to call that C. We take just the commission. That's going to be the commission rate, which is 4%, or 0.04 times the sale of the home, which is $95,000. So in this case here, we'll do 0.04 times 95,000 to get $3,800. So the commission on a $95,000 home is going to be $3,800. Okay, on to the next problem, which will be number 5. Let's say a person earns $22,000 one year and gets a 5% raise in salary. What is the new salary? Okay, first things first, we need to find out the amount of that raise by doing 22,000 times 5%. And 5% as a decimal is 0.05. So if you do 22,000 times 0.05, you'll get 1,100. Now that's the amount of the raise. So here, this person is receiving an $1,100 raise. But we want to find out what the new salary is going to be. So we'll add that 1,100 to the 22,000, and you'll get $23,100. That's his new salary. $23,100. Number 6, during the sale, a dress decreased in price from $70 to $63. What was the percent of decrease? Now, in this particular problem, when we find the percent of decrease, we want to subtract the original amount minus the new cost. So in this case, we're going to do 70 minus 63. That would give us 7. That 7 represents the amount of the decrease. We want the percent of decrease. So we take the amount of that decrease, divide that by the original amount. The original amount was $70, so it'll be 7 divided by 70, which is, as a decimal, 0.1. Now we need to change that 0.1 to a percent. So let's move the decimal point 2 places to the right, and that'll be 10%. So the percent of decrease in this particular address, for this particular address, was 10%. All right, number 7. An amount in a savings account increased from $300 to $309. What was the percent of increase? Okay, so now we're finding out what the increase was. Now we have to subtract 309 minus 300. And that's going to give you 9. That $9 represents the amount of the increase. So now for the percent of increase, we'll take the amount of that increase, which was 9, divide that by the original amount that was in the savings account. The original amount was $300, so we'll do 9 divided by 300. It will give us a decimal of 0.03. And then we change 0.03 to a percent by moving the decimal point 2 places to the right, so it'll be 3%. 3%. So the amount of the increase was 3%. Then number 8, the amount in the savings account increased from $150 to $153. What was the percent of increase? Similar to number 7, we subtract 153 minus 150. That would give us the amount of the increase, which was $3. Then take that $3, divide that by the original amount in the savings account, which was $150. So 3 divided by 150 would be 0.02. And then we want to change 0.02 to a decimal by moving that decimal point 2 places to a percent, by moving that decimal point 2 places to the right. So it'll be 2%. So the percent of increase was simply 2%. All right, number 9 was a $230 suit, and it's on sale for a 30% discount. Here you want to find the amount of the discount and the sale price. So now the marked price was $230 and the rate of discount was $30. So let's do this. 230, we're going to multiply that by 30%. Well, 30% as a decimal is 0.30. So do 230 times 0.30, which will be $69. So the amount of that discount was $69. And now we want to find the sale price. Well, that's simply taking the marked price and subtracting the discount from that marked price. So it was marked at $230. We found out that the amount of that discount was $69. So 69 from 230 will give us 161. So the sale price is $161. So the suit is on sale for $161, which represents a 30% discount from the marked price of $230. And finally, number 10. A baseball player gets 16 hits in 40 at-bats. What percents are hits and what percents are not hits? Well, 16 hits in 40 bats. Let's do 16 divided by 40. And we'll get a decimal decimal of 0.4 or 0.4, and then we want to change that to a percent. So let's move the decimal point 2 places to the right, which would give us 40%. So 40% were hits. And then we're asked what percent are not hits. Well, in this case here, if 40% are hits, then let's subtract the 40% from 100%. And that would give you 60%. So that means that 60% of his times at bats were non-hits. Okay. All right, that should be enough to assist you with some of the homework problems that are in Section 8.2 that's on the MyMathLab.